Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. All right, today I got a tip that actually came out of Golf Digest. Normally I've almost never read Golf Digest for the last number of years, but I don't know, I guess Golf Digest worked out a deal with the PGA of America, and I've been getting one now for about a year or so, complimentary. And in the end, it really gives me a lot of food for thought for golf, for these dailies and instruction. And in most cases, it's stuff that makes me want to rip the page out, crumple it up, and just throw it in the trash. But I got one here that's really good. And why? Well, number one, it's by Tom Watson. And as you all know, Tom Watson is quite vertical. And that is why Tom Watson, at 66 years old, and that's why I also like Tom Watson, because he and I are almost the same age. I think I'm a month older than him. And his 66, he's still out on the scene on the, Champions Tour. It's Tour Champions now, whatever, they changed the name. And he's giving a tip here. And he's standing here with a club in his left hand. All right. Let me see if I can't come down here. This is, I think, a fairly recent one. Hopefully you can pick this out here. You can see how he's standing. He's got a club in his left hand. And it's a back view like this. It's in his left hand, and he's up here like this, and he's got his right arm up there, right? So that's vertical, right? Because everybody else wants to be over here. Keep the glove underneath your shoulder or whatever, under your armpit, so you can stay flat and inside and get the club back over here. So that's the picture. Listen to what he says. The movement of the hips is important for generating club head speed at impact. But most golf instruction focuses on how the hips unwind as the club swings into the ball. Not to be ignored is how they should rotate on the backswing. The hands, arms, and shoulders start the swing, which basically, what do I say? Square the shoulders and hips to the knees. The body starts it. So he basically just talks about the upper square. I talk about both of them because both boxes have to turn. Because if all I do is turn this one, I got separation. Turning the upper one can actually push the lower one forward. I like them together. But again, he's talking about what he feels. Okay? And it is correct. Excuse me. It is correct. But that's why I always say, when you read books or articles written by tour players, they all have a sense of feeling. And sometimes, in many cases, what they feel is nowhere near what they're doing. So when you read anything by these folks, you got to look at the pictures and look at what they say. But basically here, everything is correct, just about correct what he's doing. The hands, arms, and shoulders start the swing, which in turn gets the hips to rotate. All right, so he wants the hips rotating. I just want to tie all three together. I want to tie both the upper body in the middle and the upper square, the lower square and then the upper square. I want to tie them together. You don't want the hips to slide, right? Because that's going to give you a reverse tilt. Brace on the inside of your right foot and turn your right butt cheek behind you. And they got an arrow on his body over here like this, going this way. All right? That's what I call, if it all turns, that's what I call, that you've already preloaded every right, but that's what I call sitting or sinking into the shot. That's like the tennis player who gets up here, they throw the ball up there, they go down and they go up. They go straight down. The pitcher stands on the mound, he goes like this, and we know he's loaded because he picks up the front foot. The quarterback goes back, he always sits on the right foot and throws. That's provided he's got enough time to do it, all right? But that's what we call loading, okay? I call it loading and receiving the weight. He's loading and receiving the weight. The right hip turns back and the left knee moves forward a little bit. Moves forward in. He's calling it forward. It does go a little forward and in. Because when you stand here and it starts to turn, it's definitely going to move a little bit out towards your foot. What you don't want is you don't want it going that way, forward left. It's got to be going a little bit forward right if you're a right-hander. Towards the inside, towards the big toe. And a little inside the toe. That combination lets you fully wind the upper body fire the club, and so you'll use the upper body storing power that you'll use to fire the club through impact. See, again, he's agreeing with PPGS. We don't hit the ball, we swing through impact. We go from the forward upswing, takes us the downswing from here to the ball is free. So even from here, right from here, we're already swinging all the way up there. The ball gets in the way. Hip rotation is the second half of the swing. Happens in a flash as you shift your weight forward by pressing down with the left heel. Now, he still advocates lifting the heel up. As you know, I prefer to see the whole foot roll in, because if you lift the heel up, if that heel comes up too straight like this way, you're going forward left of the foot rather than coming in. So I'd rather see it roll into, if you're going to move it a little bit, I'd rather see it roll maybe a little, but lifting is scary. Unless, and I'd say, I think it's still something that should be avoided. But you can't argue with him in terms of that it's worked for him. But again, look at the talent level. He plays golf for a living. Okay? Hip rotation is the second half of the swing. Happens in a flash. As you shift your weight forward by pressing down your left heel, your hips will slide slightly, no more than a few inches toward the target. That is the bump, folks. That's the bump. Notice he said a few inches. I've always said it's no inch, 2 at the most. If you slide too much, that knee and that hip gets out of that foot, you got balance problems. And in swinging the club up, you'll probably start falling that way. So basically, he is almost spot on. Tom Watson is almost spot on here. That slide happens as the hips start to undo their backswing turn. So it's just a little bit of slide, and then you just turn up. And then again, your end goal is the downswing is to transfer your weight to your left heel while rotating. Again, I talk about it goes to the outside edge near the heel. While rotating your hips until your belly button faces the target. Let your hips lead the way, and you'll max out your speed at impact. Finish at the target. Right foot, right shoelaces, right knee, belt buckle, placket, nose, arms and hands and club. Finish facing the target. That's the tee finish. Everything goes through and up to the tee finish. This is absolutely one of the finest articles, little short articles I've ever read. It's only like 3 little paragraphs about that big. Ting, ting, ting. But Tom Watson is spot on. And that's why Tom Watson at 66 years old is still highly competitive with 50 years old on the Champions Tour. And almost won a British Open, what, 4 years ago at 62 years old? The Open. Not the Senior Open, British Open, the Open. Because he's vertical. If you want to play long golf, vertical is the only way to go, because it's the body-friendly swing. So, check out Tom Watson. He's got it. Well, that's it for today, and I'll be speaking with you all again soon.